So when we talk about artificial intelligence, there's this huge question looming over everything. How in the world do you regulate a technology that's moving this fast? What we're diving into today is a massive global debate with two totally different answers, a real tale of two systems.
And you know, this quote from a German businessman just hits the nail on the head. It perfectly captures the core tension here. On one side, you have this deep fear of crushing innovation before it even gets a chance to fly. But on the other, there's the fear of what that same innovation could do if we just let it run wild.
So that really brings us to the core of it, right? When it comes to AI, what's more important? Going full throttle on innovation or slamming the brakes for safety? Who's got the right idea? Or maybe that's not even the right way to ask the question.
Let's dive in, and we're going to start with the European Union. They've taken a very, very clear position on this, and a lot of people see their approach as, well, maybe a little heavy-handed, maybe even way too soon.
The EU's whole philosophy is pretty straightforward. Safety first. They are not messing around or waiting to see what happens. In August 2024, they rolled out the world's first comprehensive law for governing AI, putting up some serious guardrails against a whole bunch of potential risks.
And what are they trying to prevent? Well, we're talking about the big stuff. The AI Act is aimed squarely at these major threats. AI systems that could discriminate against people, pump out disinformation, trash our privacy, or, even become a real danger to human life and our social fabric. The idea is to stop these fires before they start.
Okay, so how do they do this? One of their main tools is what's called a sandbox approach. Think of it like a high-tech playpen. Innovators get to test out their new AI, sure, but it's in this super controlled environment with a small number of users and with regulators watching every single move. It's all about containing any potential damage.
But, and this is a huge but, all this caution has a price. I mean, just look at the generative AI industry. When you think of the big players, OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, they're all American companies. Europe, they're practically nowhere to be found in this space. And for a lot of people, that's all the proof you need that these regulations are just too much of a burden.
All right, so that's Europe. Now let's hop across the pond and see what's happening in America. The US has taken pretty much the exact opposite approach, and it's one that has a lot of critics worried it's a classic case of doing too little, way too late.
In the US, the philosophy is completely different. It's all about permissionless innovation. The name says it all, right? The idea is to let developers and companies just go for it, to build, to create, to innovate, without getting tangled up in a bunch of red tape. It's all about maximizing that upside we talked about.
And this right here, this slide, it really boils it all down, doesn't it? Europe's biggest fear is AI causing massive harm to society. America's biggest fear is choking off the next technological revolution before it even starts. You've got two totally different anxieties, and they're leading to two totally different strategies.
So, you gotta ask, what's the absolute worst-case scenario if you wait too long to make rules? What's the big risk?
Well, the biggest fear is that the whole system just blows up, that an unregulated industry or technology grows so huge, so fast, so interconnected, that when it finally fails, and things do fail, it doesn't just fail on its own. It takes everything down with it, creating a massive systemic risk for everybody.
And look, this isn't just some abstract theory. We've seen this movie before, right? Think back to the 2008 financial crisis. That was kicked off by an unregulated financial product, subprime mortgages, that almost tanked the entire global economy. Or, more recently, just look at the implosion of FTX in the crypto space. These are blinking red warning signs about what happens when regulation shows up late to the party.
Okay, so this table does a great job of laying it all out side by side. Europe's motto is safety first, but they risk stifling innovation. America's is permissionless innovation, but they risk a total system blow-up. It really feels like a catch-22, like neither one is the perfect answer. But what if that's the whole point?
But this is where things get really interesting. Because what if this clash, this tension between the two approaches, isn't a problem? What if it's actually a feature? What if it's creating this accidental but surprisingly effective global balancing act?
So let me walk you through how this could actually play out in a perfect world. Step 1. U.S. companies, free from all that red tape, innovate like crazy and grow at an incredible speed. Step 2. They get big and want to go global, which means they have to enter the huge European market. Step 3. To do that, they have no choice but to retool their products to meet Europe's super strict safety standards. And Step 4, the magic part, those safety upgrades and risk reduction plans they built for Europe start getting baked into their products for everyone, all over the world.
It's kind of wild, right?
The paradox is that this big disagreement might actually be the best possible solution. The US gets to be the world's innovation engine, just churning out new ideas, while the EU acts as the world's safety inspector, forcing that innovation to grow up and be more responsible. It's like checks and balances, but on a global scale.
It sounds pretty neat, right? A perfect system. But as we start to wrap this up, we gotta ask, can this accidental balancing act really hold up? Is it built to last?
Because, let's be honest, reality is always way messier than our perfect theories. This whole delicate system isn't a sure thing. In fact, there are a few ways it could all fall apart.
So, what are the big dangers we need to watch out for? Well, there are basically 3 ways this whole thing could go south. First, an American AI company could move so fast it causes some huge, irreversible damage before Europe's safety checks can even kick in. Or, on the flip side, Europe's rules could be so tough they just kill great ideas in the cradle. But maybe the biggest risk of all is that one side just wins. That either the US or the EU manages to force its rules on everyone, and this productive tension we've been talking about just disappears.
And that leaves us right here with this one last really challenging question to think about. As we're building this AI-powered future, is it actually possible that the best thing for all of us is for the world's biggest powers to just keep on disagreeing? It's a fascinating thought and one that's going to shape the world for years to come.